Hello and welcome to the garden. Today I'm just doing a quick garden tour to show kind of everything that's growing. I have a lot of self-seeded and things that I've planted. We're in mid-June right now, so I have a lot of tomatoes. These Cosmos, self-seeded. I will have to cut back kind of that row right there because I have a couple of tomatoes, but they are really struggling because they're in the shade of those Cosmos, but the other tomatoes are definitely thriving. So it is something I'll have to take care of. I have some kale that went to seed that I just let go for a while. I'll eventually gather some of those seeds and give the rest to our chickens. I have a lot of sunflower seeds. I'm gonna go slowly. Those all are self-seeded. If you look there and back in there. So they tended to self-seed in one area, and then I just dug a couple up and moved them around to where I wanted them. My tomato plants, I have these on a trellis, so this is just PVC that I painted. Then I had to use nylon for this because I found that the natural strings were getting eaten by bugs at the ground mid-season. So what you do is you just, as the plant's growing, you just wrap it around this and it supports the plant. I'll have to go in here with two hands, but just to show you what you do. It's a very simple process, but the plants have grown like crazy. I weeded them a lot and then put the mulch, and we've had a lot of sun and rain lately, so they are really thriving. Back in here I have some plants that I let go to seed, so that's a mustard that I've let go to flower, I should say. So the flower of a lot of these cruciferous plants, if you let them go to flower, they taste really good, but also our chickens really enjoy that, and it gives them a little bit different nutrients than just the leaves themselves. We have buckwheat that has all self-seeded. I do have to almost weed that as if it were a weed because it does get a little bit out of hand, but it's very easy to cut back or pull out. So I don't mind. Again, good for the beneficial insects. The hulls, let me grab some. Let me see if there's any in here. Let's see. There we go. You can see there's some holes right in there. I feel like the bees are attacking me because I'm in their area. So those inside there, you can grind that, and that turns into buckwheat flour. So it's also something very good to have on hand just in case, there's ever a food shortage. We have a food source, and you can grow 3 crops of those in a season, but also great for the chickens. This is Tithonia. Looks like we have Japanese beetles that have finally shown up. I'll have to come through. I usually am able to just manage those by hand. I've noticed that traps tend to attract them more than deter them. So I will just usually put some rubbing alcohol and water in a bucket and come through and just shake them off into it, and that's usually enough to keep them at bay. We have some cabbages that there's something that's more than a bug that's gotten into that cabbage, but actually that's what I'm out here to do. I need to cut out all my cabbages. They're finally at the point that the bug pressure is more than what the growth can handle. And then I have a couple of cucumbers that I just planted last week, but they're definitely a little stunted, so I'm hoping they adapt and take off. Need to get in here and weed. This is actually just clover. It's a certain taller, more of a rare type of clover that I'm growing just for the fun of it, even though I don't know why, because I have so much clover as a weed. I have some pepper plants, some chard. That's the beautiful Tithonia. This thing, yellow finches, hummingbirds, bees, butterflies, everything loves this. Eventually, this will grow into so much of a tree that I have to cut it back aggressively because it would shade out too much of the garden. But it's just a beautiful plant to have. Lots of zinnias, again, self-seeded. I probably need to come in and trim them back and thin them out even more. I did a lot when I was weeding, but they just get so big so quick. So I do have to manage that pretty aggressively. Here I have more cabbages. Some I've already cut into. And then some tucked in there that are doing a lot better. Definitely the ones that were out in the open. Got a lot more bug pressure. I, for a while, was doing well in maintaining them, but I got so busy trying to take care of the rest of the garden that I kind of lost sight of those. And it is well past their season now in mid-June. Lots of sunflowers. Back here I have fava beans, which is the first time I've ever grown those. I need to look up, I'm not sure at what point I need to harvest. Let me see. So I have the pods growing. I just don't know what to do with them after that. Here, let me slip through here. This is something new that I'm growing this year, amaranth, which is just, I mean, it's a beautiful plant. It's striking, has these beautiful burgundy plumes coming off, and eventually the little amaranth seeds will grow. I do want to be careful that this doesn't turn into a very aggressive weed, because once those all go to seed and poof, go out, I can see I have these growing everywhere. But again, the leaves have a lot of nutrients as well as the flowers and the seeds. So something for us to enjoy. My daughters enjoy picking some of the flowers off, but also something for the chickens to enjoy. A note that I observed. Sunflowers use a ton of water, and also the leaves are so large, they block the water from falling down underneath. So it is something for next year. I'm gonna have to be much more careful about where I allow them to grow. I've noticed that I've had to manually water things that are growing under the sunflowers. In here I have more tomatoes just tucked in, dill that I've let go to seed. I cut it into it multiple times, and now it's just these beautiful flowers and seeds that will come from that. But again, something great for the beneficials. Looks great in flower arrangements and just looks pretty to enjoy. More kale in through here, a couple more tomatoes, more amaranth. I will have to do something. There's a tomato tucked in there, but I'm worried it's getting shaded out a little bit too much with this amaranth, so I might have to take him out. That sounds violent. I might have to remove it. Snow peas that are obviously they're dead, it's past their season, so I'm going to rip them out. Some parsley. I really need to get in here, cut out this parsley. I want to dry it so I have it for next year. But there you go. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you have a great day.